Wow. Okay. Wow. That that was incredible. That was where do I begin with there are so many things to talk about from this one. Um, I, hey, thanks for clicking on the video. I guess I should start off with that while I collect my thoughts because wow, this game was incredible to watch from start to finish. Well, we had our hiccups in the second half, sure, but look at the bottom score line there. I mean, that is just unreal. 56-7 in a top 10 showdown. A top 7 showdown nonetheless. And number 7 only scored 7. So yeah, wow. Buckeyes hang 56 on the Spartans, and I had no doubt that Ohio State probably could have hung 50 in this game, but I wondered how our defense was going to do, especially against a Heisman frontrunner like Kenneth Walker, with the passing attack that Michigan State brings as well with Reed and Naylor. Naylor was not able to go and play in this game. Sad day. They really could have used him out here on the field. They had to go with Jaden Reed instead, and he only got 2 catches for 28 yards. In fact, we'll talk about the defense here in a little bit because to me, that is the story of this game. The defense. The 7 points there is not the whole story. We'll get there. But let's start on the offensive end. What a day for CJ Stroud. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's the Heisman. The Heisman was won right here today. I don't think the Heisman was won today. I think the Heisman could be won next week by CJ if he has one of these types of performances in the game you see there right above my head. And we'll talk about implications for next week in a little bit. But man, I am beyond words. CJ Stroud, listen to this. 32 of 35 for 432 yards, 6 touchdowns. He had twice as many touchdowns as he did incompletions, and he looked crisp. He looked crisp. He looked sharp. He was amazing. As for the wide receivers, hey, you got the big 3. Apparently, they're calling themselves Earth, Wind, and Fire now. Cool. Chris Olave had 7 catches for 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, 7 receptions for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Jackson Smith and Jigba also eclipsed the 100-yard mark with 10 catches and got in the end zone himself as well. So great day for CJ. Great day for our receiving core. All 3 of those guys I just mentioned are going to reach 1,000 yards at the end of the year. Jackson Smith has already done it. Garrett Wilson, I believe, has 900, something like that. And Chris Olave has 850, something like that. So all 3 of these guys are going to get to 1,000 yards by season's end. That is a given. Wow. I mean, just so much talent, an embarrassment of riches. And even at the running back position, an embarrassment of riches. Mayan Williams got into the end zone for a touchdown today. Travion Henderson, only 9 carries for 63 yards. But hey, you rest him up for the big game next week, right? You didn't really need him that much in this game. But the story on offense in this one was CJ Stroud. But another smaller story to follow that I think is just kind of a feel-good story right now is Master Teague, right? It's senior day. This is the last game that Master Teague is going to be playing in the Horseshoe. They honor him for senior day, and he is the leading rusher in this game. Had 21 carries for 95 yards and 1 touchdown. He's been through a lot, man. He has one of the best names in college football, but besides that, he's a really, really good back, and he's seen guys pass him. Henderson, Williams, they've been ahead of him on the depth chart, and for Master Teague to come out on senior day, be the leading rusher, I just think that is a really, really good story, and Master Teague absolutely deserves it. He's had a heck of a career at Ohio State, and hey, he's got one more game to play. We'll see if he gets in this game against Michigan. I would assume they give him some touches after today's performance, but we will see, right? I think it's going to be a lot of Henderson next week against the Maize and Gold. Or the Maize and Blue. Maize and gold are 2 different shades of yellow. Sorry. The Maize and Blue. excuse me. I'm not going to say that word unless I'm talking about Michigan State, but I will not say the word by itself. So, yeah, it's that week now, right? This Michigan State game is done. Now we're moving into the territory, right? We are moving into the Big Blue territory. We're going to go on the road to play in Ann Arbor. But before we talk about that game, let's talk about this defense because, oh man, yeah, this defense was, oh, wow, this was a phenomenal defense today, especially our defensive line. Our defensive line had such a good game. Sorry, I had to grab water. Our defensive line had such a good game, only allowed 66 rushing yards, forced a couple balls onto the turf. The first one, originally called a complete pass short of the first down, was then additionally, when people saw it, thought, hey, that should have been a fumble. Then they called it incomplete. I can see that call if you go back and watch Reed on that play, but I think he made the football move because he extended his arm, tried to get the football past the first down marker, and then lost it, got punched out by Denzel Burke, the player who wears this number. Of course, Burke is not the guy on my jersey. This is my jersey that I made. Not aware that Denzel Burke was number 29. But hey, the player wearing this number, he had a pretty good day as well, as did most of the Ohio State defense like we just talked about, but also allowed a total of 224 yards. That was it. That's all that the Ohio State defense allowed in this game, while the Ohio State offense, 655, 500 of those coming in the first half. So a great day all around if you are an Ohio State fan. I've yet to look at like the sack numbers and the tackle for loss numbers, but we had quite a bit of sacks, quite a bit of tackles for loss here as well. So for the Ohio State Buckeyes, this was an incredible performance, and they didn't let up. They did not let up at all. Of course, second half didn't go the way that you envisioned if you're Ryan Day. Didn't go the way I envisioned either, but you get the win by 49 points. I mean, I don't think you're going to be complaining that much, or at least you shouldn't be. If you are an Ohio State fan out there, you wanted to make a statement to the playoff committee. How about this first statement? This is not the same team that played Oregon in week 2. And I think we all knew that, but this just solidifies it. We wondered how Ohio State was going to play good competition after struggling through Penn State, after struggling through Nebraska, and then after beating Purdue, hanging 59, but then still allowing 31 points. You kind of wondered how this game was going to flow. Michigan State does have the worst pass defense in the nation, and it showed. They allowed 449 passing yards, but I also thought Michigan State's offense would be more productive in this game. And I thought Michigan State's offense was going to be able to get a little bit more going, especially with the attack of Jaden Reed. Even if Naylor wasn't ready to go to play in this game, I didn't necessarily think Michigan State was going to win this game, but I did think that their offense would play a little bit better. But what a performance from the Ohio State defense. Do I have full confidence in them? No, still not yet. Remember, this defense is young. It's still kind of a work in progress. There were still some very minor things in this game that you want to get figured out, especially when you watch in the second half. There were a lot of things on defense where they got more conservative. When I say they didn't let up, yeah, the offense didn't let up, even though they put Kyle McCord into play. But the defense was kind of playing a little more conservative. I get it. Don't let guys get hurt. That sort of thing, right? The game was already out of reach. It was 49-0 at halftime. And I just was sitting back like, oh my God, I am loving this. And I was loving the entire game. I was very nervous coming into this game on the defensive end. And I thought, okay, if Ohio State has struggles in the red zone and Michigan State's offense is going against this defense, we could be in trouble. But none of that happened. Both sides from Ohio State performed very, very well. This was as complete of a game, I think, that we have played this season. This was just a bona fide, just blowout. This was over after the first quarter, where it was 21-0 after one. So This is a fantastic win by Ohio State. Now, before we talk about next week, let's talk about this week, because Oregon has to play Utah tonight. You're going to see that game on ABC at around 7:30, maybe 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Again, primetime games usually kick off late. So around 7:45 Eastern Standard Time, you'll see that one. If you are an Ohio State fan watching this video right now, hell, if you're a college football fan watching this video right now, you need to go watch that game, because a lot of people presumably see the two numbers next to these teams. You see a 7 and you see a 4. You're probably thinking this is going to be game of the week. I thought Utah and Oregon was going to be game of the week. Remember my predictions? I had a 1-point win for Oregon, 34-33, I believe was my final score prediction, because I really do think it's going to be that good of a game. And when you look at how both of those teams match up on paper, there's like no difference. There is virtually no difference on paper. And I would watch this game if I were an Ohio State fan, especially because now, depending on how Oregon plays tonight, we've seen that the committee cares about head-to-head, but not as much as we probably first thought, right? Because Michigan State, while they beat Michigan, are behind Michigan in the polls right now. Of course, they're going to drop after this, and they were going to be behind even if they lost to Ohio State anyway, even if they were ahead of Michigan, say like at number 6. But now, depending on how Oregon plays tonight, does the committee still value that head-to-head result? Or do they look at Ohio State and think, wow, this is the more complete team. We have to put them above this team that we currently have at number 3. And again, it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot right now. I just think it's something interesting to watch, and it wouldn't bother me. Of course, if Oregon loses the game tonight, Ohio State is jumping to number 3, no doubt about that. But if Oregon, say, wins a close game, they don't necessarily look that great, you maybe could see some conversation in that committee room about number 4 becoming number 3 and number 3 dropping to number 4. So something to keep an eye on there. But that Oregon-Utah game should be phenomenal tonight. That one is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to watch that one this week. There are still a lot of good games on this week, a lot of good games that have already been played. But let's look ahead to next week a little bit, right? We got the game. It's time to start crossing out the M's wherever you are. If you're a Buckeye fan, wherever you are, go buy some red duct tape. Just start crossing out M's. Just do it. Why not, right? Just start crossing out M's. If you are on the Ohio State campus, you better be helping do that too, because it is that time. Hold on 1 second. Actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab some. Never mind, can't find it. Don't know where it is. But it's the shirt I'm going to be sporting next week. It's the Beat Mish again shirt, but it spells again. But you'll see it in my review next week. I'm sure some Ohio State fans have that shirt. But no, it is that time of week, right? It is that time of year. The game will be played. Last year, the game was canceled due to COVID problems with Michigan. And then there's storyline of, oh, they're just bailing out. They're trying to screw Ohio State over. Again, last year was what it was, right? But the game is going to feel like a big game for the first time in a long time. And last time I checked, I believe Michigan is up 7-0 against Maryland. And if they take care of business today in Annapolis, then next week you have Ohio State and Michigan for the division for a spot in the Big Ten championship game. If Michigan loses today, Ohio State clinches the spot, but that does not mean that they are still going to be able to get into the playoff, because we have to beat Michigan next week, and then we have to win the Big Ten in order for us to get in. Plain and simple. If Ohio State beats Michigan, wins the Big Ten championship game, there and no questions asked. But if Michigan loses today, and then Ohio State beats Michigan, and then somehow loses in the Big Ten championship game, or maybe lose to Michigan, whatever. There's still a lot that could play out here, but we're going to presume Michigan takes care of business today, which I think they will. Ohio State, Michigan set up for the division next week. That is going to be a monster game. I honestly can't wait. Early prediction, I'm going to take the Buckeyes. Early prediction, I'm going to take the Buckeyes. Again, I'm going to go watch Michigan, see how they've played a little bit. I said I wouldn't say the word. Now Ohio State fans are going to be after me. Oh, well, it's fine. But that team up north is going to get some show when we come up to play in Ann Arbor next week. That's going to be a phenomenal game. This team today played a phenomenal game. Yes, there's still a couple things I'd work out on the defensive side, but overall, this was as dominant of a performance as we've had all season, especially against a good quality opponent like Michigan State. And let me just look real quick. I believe we held Kenneth Walker like 26 yards here, 6 carries for 25 yards. That was Kenneth Walker's day. That was it. Only 6 carries for 25 yards against the nation's leading rusher. He also had 1 reception for 4 yards, but again, so 29 total yards for Kenneth Walker, who was leading the nation in pretty much every rushing category. Fantastic performance from this Ohio State team. Fantastic performance overall. I can't wait to watch the game next week. That's all I got to say about this game here. There's still a lot of good college football games left on today, including the one I've already mentioned, right, in Oregon and Utah. So still some very interesting games out there on the slate today for sure. Still a lot of big games that can decide a lot of things in the college football playoff realm. This, again, is a big week. This was one of the games that was going to decide a lot. Ohio State ends up winning it. We'll see what happens the rest of the night, but enjoy the rest of your college football Saturday. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you'd like to support the channel, you don't have to, but again, if you would like to, you can hit the subscribe button, leave a like, comment down below, do anything you can, help support on the channel. It would definitely mean a lot to me. And hey, if you subscribe, you can see more content like this. My next video, of course, will be my review, which I'm going to try to get up tomorrow on Sunday. But hey, as always, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. Next week is the big game. It's the game, the best rivalry in all of college football. I'll see all of you guys next week with another Ohio State fan reaction. For those of you that like other content as well, I'll see you tomorrow or Monday, but probably tomorrow with my Week 12 review. Enjoy the rest of your college football Saturday. See y'all later. Goodbye.